Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, all praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Prayer to the Most High gives more knowledge, understanding for this information. Okay, so we get much more understanding of the events of the past in order to understand what's going on right now. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to be getting into some serious matters right now. Over the next few videos, Most High has been having me do a lot of studying, clarifying many things, and he's been bringing other brethren in the nation, brothers and sisters, to confirm what he's been showing me. So we're just going to kind of lay the groundwork right now, and we're going to be getting into the Kolbrin Bible. Only a couple paragraphs, but it will clarify many of the things that have been going on, and how the priest of Mahan has written the Bible a certain way so you would never realize, or the vast majority of the world will not realize, that the devil has set up this abominable church. The devil has been complicit in hiding all this information, and that this was all part of the process. It's like a weeding out process, even within our own nation. If you are only reading 80 books, you are part of the problem. And we're going to show you that today. How there's been clues even in the scriptures that show you that only reading 80 books shows that you're complicit with Babylon. And you're going to see how it's been set up this way, but the Most High gave clues. I'm going to show you one of the clues right here. Brother I was talking to yesterday, a close brother of mine that I study with all the time, he brought this up to me. And the Most High kind of showed me some more, how this goes perfectly with what we're going to show you today. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. That's exactly what we've been doing this entire time. This is what the priests of Mahan and the abominable church has been doing the whole time. They've been the ones that have been giving us only part of the information. And we got people out here who are treating that one part as if it's the whole. Most High did another great work a couple of weeks ago when one of the subscribers brought the Kolbrin Bible to my attention. And now we're able to put another important part together. So we got the Bible. We got all these other books that have been hidden. We got the second stick, which gave us more information. And now we got this Kolbrin Bible that is bringing forth all this other information so we can actually get a much better understanding of the things that are coming. So that's why we know in part. So people who only have a part, who say they have 100% of the truth, are showing you that they're just being complicit with the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church only released the parts of the Bible that they wanted to use in order to hide their identity here at the end. There's nowhere, like I've said for over the last couple of years, show me anywhere where it says that the Most High only gave us 80 books. And as you can see, no takers. But now we understand, because now it talks about that in the Book of Mormon, how at the end, the kings of this world would shut their mouths. Now, it won't just be the kings, it'll also be the people who were complicit with the kings, complicit with the Church of Mahan, complicit with 80 books only. That's why they've shut their mouths. They're not trying to prove any of this wrong. And when they do, they do a horrible job at it, because they know that they can't, because they know this is all part of prophecy. So the whole part of what we know in part, well, we were given 80 books, so we know that that's only a part of it. We were given 80 books thousands of years ago, like I said, by the Church of Mahan. I should say hundreds of years ago, by the Church of Mahan. And they've been real slick with it, how they've done it. And you're going to see today, we're going to get more clarification now about the meanings of a lot of these things that have been hidden on purpose, okay, through the Bible. Now, we know that the Bible stops, a little bit after 70 AD, before the formation of the abominable church. We know that was around 325 AD, by Constantine. That's why I call these people Constantine Christians. And we got Hebrews that are Constantine Christians too. Because the Bible was telling us we're only going to know parts. So you're only going to get parts at a time. So as you get a part, don't think you have it all. You only have a part. And then when the Most High is ready, he's going to give us other parts. And when we start putting that information together, the puzzle becomes, more clear. But with only one part, and you thinking you have it all, that just shows that you're just complicit with, the Church of Mahan. Now check this part out. This is huge. And I just kind of noticed this. And Most High put this, gave me this understanding today. Take a look at this. Take a real quick look at the different nations right there. Okay. Now, the church was sure the head is Babylon. The church and the people who put the Bible together are sure that the Medo-Persians are the chest. They're sure that the thighs and brass are Greece. They're sure that the legs of iron are Rome. But all of a sudden you get to the feet and it's just a divided world. They don't know. Or it's America. Or it's Europe. All of a sudden now they're forced to guess. Why are they forced to guess? If they were so sure about everything before, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, then all of a sudden it's just, hey, we don't know. But we're not going to tell you we don't know. We're just going to just throw things down in there. Just different nations. Yes, because they wrote the Bible that way. The Bible stops. Like there was no other information coming forward after 100, 200 AD. There was nothing that they could have put there. No, they were doing that in order to hide how they've been complicit with what's going to be happening at the end times. So then when they left that open, if you're only using the 80 books, you're forced to only use their information. And trust me, that information from the Bible is predominantly coming from over there in the three parts. It's coming from the southern kingdom and what's going on in the three parts. They hadn't made it to the fourth part yet. So therefore, they didn't have the records of the fourth part. So they didn't have the records of the northern kingdom. So they were forcing everything, over there. They're having to force everything for prophecy from the beginning to the end for the three parts only. So the destroying rock, now we got, we already know what's coming. I'm not going to mention it because it seems like when I do certain things about mentioning what's in the skies, there seems to be issues with the video. So we know what's coming. We already talked about that yesterday. But we know that the kingdom, the Most High, he's bringing, a transition. That transition is already beginning. As you hear now, all these nations are talking about how they're going to try to open up their economies and things like that. But then all of a sudden today, there was like another surge of deaths here in America where it was like 2,400 people died in a day. So anytime they talk, people don't understand in this world, especially, they don't understand that the Most High is in control of everything. They think things are still random. This society is never going to open up again the way it was. And that goes also with the cup. That goes with what is going on with the transitioning of the cup of dregs from us to the other nations. People are just dying for, that life to come back again. And it's never going to come back again. Not, so, you can kiss that goodbye. But back to this. So they're for sure about all these different nations. Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. All of a sudden at the end, you got the feet of iron and clay, and all of a sudden they have no idea. They know it goes from 476 to today. Well, we know that the church was already set up in 325 AD. That church has been complicit with all the death and destruction all over the place, worldwide. And that church is complicit with Rome. But we're going to get into some more stuff right now to kind of give more understanding about the feet and the clay and the end times. And you see, they've been working so hard to hide themselves that now all these prophecies that are in all these other books, I said, if it's not them, then that would mean we would need to go through another 500, 600 years of being at the bottom again. And if this was just, a scrimmage, This is just a playtime of us going through all this stuff for the last 500 years. It was just like a scrimmage. It didn't count. No one was keeping score. So now we're going to start it all over again. We'll put the Hebrews back on the bottom again and get another 500 years to do whatever it is that they want with us. Because I don't see anything in the Bible or in these other scriptures about 7 years where they get to destroy us for 500, plus they get a bonus 7. I said, but that's because they've been complicit in hiding everything. But now these other books are going to, pull up that skirt so we can see absolutely everything like the Most High said he would. Let's go. We're going to jump into the Kolbrin Bible right here. Okay. Just going to read one section here. And this is talking about this is talking about the feet. This is talking about, the things that they just all of a sudden, hey, we don't know who the feet are. We're not sure. Okay. This is talking about an end times nation right here. And then you can kind of look at it, and then you go back to the Bible. You understand why they wrote the guy who wrote the Bible. So it get really close to when they're going to establish that abominable church, and then bam, it just stops. And then now you're just left to open. It's just open for interpretation. All right, check this out real quick. Let's see. Thus it was in the days of heavenly wrath, which have gone, and thus it will be in the days of doom, when it comes again. The times of its coming and going are known unto the wise. So only the wise are going to know what's going on. Okay. These are the signs and times which shall precede the destroyer's return. And that's where we're at right now. We're right before the destroyer's return. 110 generations shall pass into the west, and nations will rise and fall. Men will fly, in the air as birds, and swim in the seas as fishes. So you guys kind of a reference to airplanes and submarines and other things. Okay. Men will talk peace one with another. Hypocrisy and deceit shall have their day. And that's exactly, they always talk about peace. And we had a nation that came here and talked about peace and made, all these agreements with the natives and broke every single one. Okay. Women will be as men and men as women. Is that not the way it is right now? The role reversals right now. Passions will be a plaything of man. All right. So now this is the main part we're going to start getting into right now. Now you start to think about what nations after 325 AD, after the Bible just kind of stops, what nation fits what's going on right here? A nation of soothsayers shall rise and fall, and their tongue shall be the speech learned. Okay, so you got those speech. You talk about Greeks. The Greeks went all over the place and forced their languages and forced their their ways of thoughts on absolutely everyone. A nation of lawgivers shall rule the earth and pass away into nothingness. We had our time when we ruled Spain and we ruled different areas, and we were the lawgivers. We were the Most High's chosen people. But eventually, we were going to fall off, and no one's going to remember us. That's what's been going on as well. Now, this is important right here. This shows you who the feet are. This shows you why, they stopped the Bible where they did. And just like that statue, all of a sudden you get to the feet and no one knows who that is. Well, this will let you know right here. See who fits this perfectly. Okay. One worship will pass into the 4 quarters of the earth. Say, all right. So now I'm going to show you in the Book of Mormon how this happened as well. And even in the Bible, how a group was going to be given control of all of the 4th part when they were already in charge of the first 3 parts. Okay. So again, one worship will pass into the 4 quarters of the earth, talking peace and bringing war. There you go. There's your group of people. The Spaniards got here and they had to go ahead and make those declarations to the people. They made it in Spanish. And then if they didn't just fall down, the natives didn't fall on their knees and just accept it, they would just, massacre them. There's your feet right there. There's how the Bible has been used, with the trickery so that they would hide themselves. So again, one worship will pass into the 4 quarters of the earth, talking peace and bringing war. All right, that's them. That's who the feet are. It's not Babylon all over again. Okay, they did that so that you wouldn't know who they were. says a nation of the seas will be greater than any other. So for a time, that nation of the seas, was definitely Spain, but it's also England. England, like at one time, the sun never set on the English Empire. Some little itty bitty nation of people who was all over the world, and the seafaring people was going to be, the strongest ones. Again, right here, look, a nation of the seas will be greater than any other. All right, and that's Spain for a time, England for a time. It's these, Gentile nations. They've had their run, but see, they wanted to hide themselves. So how are we going to trust the people that are trying to hide themselves to give us the correct information? In 1611, when this Bible, the King James was put together, these people had already been destroying our people. They've already been complicit with hiding all this information. So the King James is going to be written in a way, certain things, books are going to be left out that are going to continue to hide who the Most High was using to destroy our people, who the wicked are. They've been hiding themselves this entire time, and they've been using our Bible to do it. And they set up people to say, hey, don't read anything else. Just look here. Don't look at any other books. Everything we need is right here. This is 100% of the truth. The 80 books that they gave us. See, the Kolbrin exposes exactly who these people are, and exposes the fact that they were going to be used to push their religion to all four corners. And we're going to get into that in the Book of More in a little bit. Okay, so again, a nation of the seas will be greater than any other. So there you go. They love to thwart, to throw that in, in our faces. We had like a little itty bitty island. We controlled everything. Our nation. The sun never set on all of our nation because we ruled everything. Okay, so again, a nation of the seas will be greater than any other, but will be as an apple, rotten at the core, and will not endure. And that's exactly them. On the outside, they look okay. They look like us, but inside they have no souls. They have no spirit. They do things to us and they don't care. They have no remorse, and that will not endure. And that's exactly what's happening right now. And that's why they're still crying, because they want to go back to what they did to us before. So they want their bonus round. That's not going to come. No bonus rounds here. That's all you get. Okay. Let's see. A nation of traitors will destroy men with wonders, and it shall have its day. And that's what they were. They were traitors. They're going around trading things, trading goods, trading people, going to different countries, enslaving us and trading us for goods. You got your definite triangular shipping area, the way they've been doing it from Europe to Africa to here. The triangular slave trade. So as a nation of traitors, you cannot read this and then not say you don't know who these people are. So a main thing is they're pushed all religions to the four parts. That's them. That's their Catholic Church and their horrors of their Christianity as well. That's all that right there. Then they're a nation of traitors right there. Nation of the seas. I mean, it's showing you exactly who they are. But the Bible makes it at the end, you're not going to know who these people are. They just leave it to open interpretation. Okay, all right? So they're going to have their day and everything else, okay? Let's continue. A nation of traitors will destroy men with wonders, and it shall have his day. Their wonders, they brought their horses, they brought their guns, they brought, Esau got his blessing, got his, his weapons. Was able to bring all that over here, brought the dogs that would, help them to destroy our people. All that was his wonders. That's what he got. And he's going to have his day. Most High gave them their opportunity. Then shall the high strive with the low, the north with the south, the east with the west, and the light with the darkness. See, the Most High kept us all separated, and he said as long as we followed the Most High's ways, he would keep us separated. But as soon as we fell off, he would bring the other nations over to our lands, and they would have our lands, and he would destroy us. So we're going to be all together as one. It also talks about in the book of Enoch how at the end, the wicked and the people, children of the light, are all going to be striving together, but no one's going to know what's going on. And that's how it's been. And that's what this is saying right here as well. Men shall be divided by their races, and the races were set up by these Gentiles, okay? By their races, and the children will be born as strangers among them. So yeah, our children we're born as strangers. We don't know who's who because they mix up everything, okay? Brother shall strive with brother, and husband with wife. Fathers will no longer instruct their sons, and the sons will be wayward. And that's exactly what has happened with our people. Our men, have lost their way, but it's been on purpose by the separation of the men and the women. And now we have these kids who don't have a true, Hebrew man in the house to give direction. But that's the way the Most High said it would be until the end right now. Okay, not a man of this place, of this country, who just teaches you nothing about your history, teaches you nothing about the truth, and all they teach you to do is to be a good slave, to just regurgitate their history and regurgitate their information, and never know anything of the Spirit. That's what they call a good man now, who provides money. But now, as you can see, all that knowledge, understanding that they've given is nothing. All that money is useless. Can't even use it. Can't go anywhere. Can't do anything with it. All you can do is buy the necessities, and right now at this point, pretty much, and that's it. So it's all being, they have goals and aspirations of things going back to how they used to be, but that's not happening. So again, fathers will no longer instruct their sons, and the sons will be wayward. Women will become the common property of men and will no longer be held in regard and respect. Now, all this is talking about our women. They'll be opened up so they can actually go with heathen. So, they won't, many of these heathen have always wanted their opportunity with our women. So as soon as they got on top, they put themselves on top, made themselves to be, the desired of the most desired of the society. And now they've had their time with, the property of men. They've been the property of these Gentile men. But in our society, the women are going to be highly regarded. In this society, they're just, there's things that the men of this, these Gentiles can do whatever they want. And when they're done with them, they can just discard them. But that's the way that the society, has set up everything. I'm going to read a little bit at the bottom. Then men will be ill at ease in their hearts. They will seek, they know not what. An uncertainty and doubt will trouble them. And that's what's happening right now. Many of these people are just, yearning to go back to the way things were. And slowly they're realizing that that's not going to happen. Now there's a lot of uncertainty. It says they will possess great riches, but be poor in spirit. That's the vast majority of this world. Many of these men, I said, they have a lot of money. But what does that help them now? Now they're poor in spirit. They've gained the whole world, but lost their souls. Then will the heavens tremble and the earth move. Men will quake in fear, and while terror walks with them, let me read a little bit more. The heralds of doom will appear. We'll get more into that very shortly in another video. All right. So the feet and this other nation that's supposed to arise at the end and put our people down at the bottom. You get more information and more understanding of them through this Kolbrin Bible right here. This fits the other nations. This fits Rome. This fits England. This fits Europe. This fits the rest of the world. Because see, when we're talking about a lot of these things about the head and the tail, we're only talking about a group of people. The head, who is the head? It's a small group of people. Who are the tail? Talking about the Hebrews. They're eventually going to switch, and one's going to, the Hebrews are going to become the head, and the Edomites are going to become the tail. But you got the rest of the body. You got a lot of people in the middle. They're just kind of in the middle. This is a fight between the Most High, restoring his people that are at the tail right now back to the head. But those people that are at the head are going to be put back at the tail. All right, so let's keep going. 4, we know in part, and we prophesy in part. Again, when you only have the Bible, you can only go up to a certain time. And like I said, we've already made this proclamation of people, yay, prove it wrong as far as other books, how we can't read other books. And they never do. Why do they not? Because they are aligned with the king. And what did the Most High say? These kings of this earth. And what did the Most High say at the end? These kings will have to shut their mouths. So not only with these kings, but the people that are under them. They're not going to try to prove this Kolbrin wrong. They're just going to try to ignore it as if they're in somehow some kind of a prestigious position. And if they don't have to answer to anybody, they can't prove it wrong, because the Bible that they use doesn't even give you enough information to figure out who the feet are. You have to go outside of the Bible in order to get this information. The church of Mahan doesn't want you to figure it out, so therefore they will prohibit you from looking at any other books outside of the Bible. And pretty much even in the Bible, they'll put up their own priests to break things down for you, because they don't trust you to be smart enough to be able to do that yourself. So again, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. So we got the Bible part already. We now saw the Kolbrin part. We put that together now. And now we know that that's talking about the Church of Mahan, the Catholic Church, and all these Christian churches. Next part that we're going to put together, the Book of Mormon. All right, we're going to stop right here. We're going to go right here. Let's see what I'm going to start at. So I'm going to go to this part. Let's go here to confirm what the church already did. Okay, let's take a look at 1 Nephi 13. Skip on down to 29. Actually, let's go to 28. Wherefore thou seest that after the book hath gone forth through the hands of the great and abominable church, that there are many plain and precious things taken away from the book. Now see, they took many of these precious things away to hide themselves, to hide who they are at the end. So then you would make up things about, Babylon is America. Babylon is New York. Babylon is, because we've done all these horrible things. So Babylon is, that's why they put Babylon at the end. So then you can just guess. The Kolbrin Bible already showed you that they're going to be the ones that are going to be pushing this, their religion to the four corners. Let's continue. Let's read it again. Wherefore thou seest that after the book hath gone forth through the hands of the great and abominable church, that there are many plain and precious things taken away from the book, which is the book of the Lamb of the Most High. And after these plain and precious things were taken away, it goeth forth unto all the nations of the Gentiles. And after it goeth forth unto all the nations of the Gentiles, so it goes to the fourth, the three parts first, after they've taken everything away, after they've done done their number to hide themselves, and then they start to push that out there, okay? Unto all the nations of the Gentiles, yea, even across the many waters, which thou hast seen with the Gentiles. Now this is a seafaring people that has gone across the great waters, come across the oceans, and brought that mess over here to the fourth part, okay? Again here, and to all the nations of the Gentiles, and after it goeth forth unto all the nations of the Gentiles, yea, even across the many waters, which thou hast seen with the Gentiles, which have gone forth out of captivity. Okay? Thou seest because of the many plain and precious things which have been taken out of the book. All right, so again, now we got another one. We got another part. Remember, prophesying in parts. So these people took out information and then they sent it to the three parts of the Gentiles over there. Okay, then they brought it across the ocean to the fourth part. So again, that confirms what's in the Kolbrin. The Kolbrin says that this group of people who's going to be in charge at the end, the Babylon that they like to call it, that's what they're going to do, is they're going to spread their religion to the four parts. And that's exactly what has happened. All right, so next, let's go back here. Just so you know that it's the churches, okay, that have set up all this stuff. It's not just these countries. Dum Diversus starts with the Pope in the 1450s. He pretty much declared that our people were going to be, perpetual servitude until when? Until whenever the Most High takes it away. So that was the churches. This right here is telling you, again, that it's the church, the devil set up the church. So let's go to, let me see here. 1 Nephi 13 and, 4. And it came to pass that I saw among the nations of the Gentiles the formation of a great church. And that's where, remember now, this is why you have to go, you prophesying in parts. Over here in the three parts, they're not gonna let that information out. So they're gonna stop the Bible right before all that happens. But see, the Most High kept all that information over here in the fourth part hidden, so that it would come out later, because this is prophesying about what's going on across the ocean. This is why you have to, you can only prophesy in parts. If you're only using the Bible, then you have no idea what's going on over here in the Americas. That's why the Most High hid the information over here. So that then when we get this information, we can now go back over there and see how the Most High had already prophesied what was going to happen in the three parts in Europe. 5, and the angel said unto me, behold, the formation of a church, which is most abominable above all other churches. Now, the Catholic Church is not going to let this out. They're not going to let this information out because they're holding themselves up as, the vicar of Christ, the representative of Christ on earth. So they're not going to let this information out. That's why the Most High hid it over here. Okay? What was the main thing that they were set up for? The church which is most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the saints of the Most High, yea, and tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them with a yoke of iron, and bringeth them down into captivity. So now you see why they had to hide all these other books, all this information over here. Now you understand when they got over here, they had to try to burn it all because they didn't want this information getting out, that they were actually the church of the wicked, and that their claim to fame was putting our people in slavery and killing our people, killing the Most High's chosen seed. They had to hide all that. So that's why they said, there was no writings over here. There was no information over here. You can't find anything over here. See, this has already been prophesied in other books, just like the Kolbrin. Okay? So good. And it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, that he was the founder of it. So the devil founded this church. The devil founded this church, and now that church, of the devil, was now spreading its version, its religion, to the four parts. And I also saw gold and silver, and silks and scarlets, and fine twined linen, and all manner of precious clothing. And I saw many harlots. So now this church is all about money, and all the little harlots are all the little Christian churches and all the other spin-offs that are here worldwide, that our people were, going to visit every week, multiple times, and now the Most High shut that down. Now check this part out now, okay? And the angel spake unto me, saying, behold, the gold and the silver and the silks and the scarlets and the fine twined linen and the precious clothing and the harlots are the desires of this great and abominable church. So it's all about money and expanding with the churches, expanding, with their little harlot churches all over the world. That's the whole thing. That's the main desire of this great church. Now, the people that were in the middle, we talked about the head and the tail. These are the people in the middle right here in number 9. This is why the vast majority of the world still goes to these churches, still puts their faith in these churches right here. And also for the praise of the world do they destroy the saints of God and bring them down into captivity. So the rest of the world praises this religion, follows this religion, because they brought our people into captivity. They destroyed our people. That's why the Most High, the vast majority of Gentiles ain't going to make it unless the Most High awakens them. The vast majority of Gentiles are not going to admit who we are because they've been putting their praise and worship into this church, which took us down. And the Kolbrin, it shows you that's the church right there. That's who the Most High is coming back to destroy. The church and the people who follow that church. So all these people who keep on talking about the 7-year tribulation period, the chip, all that stuff comes from this abominable church. They're the ones who push that. When you go to universities, they're the ones that talk about, the rapture, pre-post, or during the tribulation. All that stuff comes from the abominable church. And if it's not true, show me where it comes from. But see, the kings, their mouths are shut. So if you see people that are not responding, not talking, that shows you that they're aligned with the king of this place. and how the Most High said He was going to shut their mouths. Now their mouths are shut. Might come with a dumbass comment once in a while, which is pretty much all they can do. They have nothing to prove us wrong because they can't. Even Paul told you people are going to prophesy in parts, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're bringing parts together. They refuse to have other people even look at any different parts. They only look at one part, and they don't prove how we can't. They don't prove the fact that the Most High limited us to one part. And now you see why all these people are still looking at Easter. They're looking at Christmas. They're looking for any other holidays because these people were complicit with this religion, complicit with the Satan, complicit with the devil and our downfall. And now they can't make a choice. If you thank the Most High, if the Most High is opening up your eyes to be able to see the truth and to be able to repent of your ways and to be able to, grasp on and cleave to the true Hebrew Israelites. Because that is a blessing in itself, because the vast majority of the world, they were giving praise to this church so that they would have their opportunity and be able to enjoy themselves. And now they can, it's kind of crazy. I know they're like window shoppers now. They can walk by the mall, they can take a look at what's inside, they can see all these things that they want to buy, but they can't do it now. They can't go inside. The stores are closed. Now they can, reminisce on the good old times, reminisce on how things used to be, reminisce on their sports, all the while we were at the bottom and they were ignoring our plight. Now they can't do that anymore. The Most High shut all that down. Now talking about the seafaring people. Let's see here. And it came to pass, 11. This is so 1 Nephi 13 and 11. And it came to pass, the angel said unto me, Behold, the wrath of the Most High is upon the seed of thy brethren. And I looked and beheld a man among the Gentiles, who was separated from the seed of my brethren by the many waters. And I beheld the Spirit of God, that it came down and brought upon the man, and he went forth upon the many waters, even unto the seed of my brethren, who were in the promised land. So again, seafaring people. Remember, we talked about that. How these people that were going to be brought over were going to be brought people of the seas. Well, that's Columbus right there, man of the seas. He was brought over the seas to the promised land. Again, another confirmation of what is in the Kolbrin Bible. And then later on, that would be England. They would be doing the same thing, another mighty nation of the seas. So that's all we need to do on that part. Okay? So again, we know in part and we prophesy in part. Just like I talked about in Isaiah 28:10 and on. Here a little, there a little. Here a little, there a little is not just the Bible. It's these other books as well. Other books of, pretty much a religious or, spiritual understanding, as well as historical books. And even the Most High just sending the Holy Spirit to just give us knowledge, understanding. Many of these things we already knew, but now there's more confirmation in these other books. It's like the Most High gives it to us first, and then He confirms it through the books later on, just to show that it's Him and that it's not us. He gives me a thought at times, and then He'll just open up the books to certain pages where that information will just be confirmed, so that no man can glory or act like it was me. I said that's all the Most High. So again, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. So these people who are trying to prophesy with only one book, I don't know how you can sit there and you only have the Bible and you're going to sit there and say that you're going to talk about what is happening over here in the Americas. And you're going to say what's happening over here in the Americas at the end as well, when you only are using one book that stopped around, 100 AD, and there's no other information after that. Well, Paul here is telling you, for we know in part and we prophesy in part. We can only know, we can only prophesy about the books that we know. If we don't look at any other books, and especially when our adversary was the one who gave you this group of books right here, damn well that person's going to be lying and giving you at least partial information. This is your mark of the beast. If you start still talking about taking a mark and this and that, when you drive by people, I was driving by somebody earlier today, and I was just looking inside their car, and they had crosses hanging up, got crosses on their neck. Still talking about that white Jesus. They've been marked. You ain't making it into the kingdom. You're not going to get any grace and mercy if you're still worshiping this, or you're looking at this as your power. That's your mark of the beast. That mark has been used now, from the formation of the church, for when you first started with the formation of the church, and pushing that whole doctrine, coming over here and bringing this, as well. That's your mark. There's your mark of the beast. If you're still waiting for a mark and a chip and everything else, says you don't understand history. The Most High's already given us all that. He's already destroyed our people. And if it's not, if that didn't count, then like I said, that must have been like a scrimmage game. Most High you know what? He wasn't serious. He was just playing about our destruction the first 500 years. There must be some more destruction coming on afterwards. And so I haven't found that in the scriptures yet about a 7 year, where it says 7, you get 7 years. 7 years, over time to destroy our people some more. But I did hear that from the abominable church. I did hear that whole, thought process, that whole dogma about the 7-year tribulation period and the rapture and everything else. I did hear that from that abominable church. Now I also heard about them being set up by the devil. So if you believe that about the whole 7-year tribulation, prove it. If you're just going to skip the 500 years of our people being destroyed, try to prove that in the scriptures as well, how that's going to happen, and they get to do it again. If not, then like I said, your king has already has his mouth shut, and that's why you don't say anything either. You guys don't prove anything either. And this goes for people in our nation as well as these Gentiles as well, because things aren't working out the way that they had said they were going to. They thought they were going to be raptured away and weren't going to have to deal with any hardship. But that sounds about right for these Gentiles, because they never think that they have to go through anything. Our people can go through everything and be ignored by them, but they don't have to pay for anything. Well, that bill is here, and the Most High is about to collect. And we're going to be getting into some more, much more deep information. This is just like the start, and we're going to be getting into even some more stuff right now. But another part now, because we went to Kolbrin, we went to the Book of Mormon, and now we're going to go to the Bible and bring all three of those, all those books together. When he opened the fourth seal, see, they act like all this stuff is going to happen in the future when it's already happened. When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." And I saw, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death. And Hades followed him, and they were given power over a fourth of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. That's when they brought over Columbus, those seafaring people. They brought their religion over here. That's how they had to fulfill, bringing their religion to the 4 parts of the earth. This was the 4th part. This was the part that was hidden. They used dogs for their wild beasts. They brought famine, and because of the pestilence and the smallpox, as they say, came over here. Our people couldn't work the lands. There's your famines. If this is not true, if this has not already happened, prove it. If not, then hang out with your kings and keep your mouth shut and just sit on the sidelines, because we have nothing else to say to you. So we brought it together in 3 different parts, in 3 different books. The Kolbrin, the Bible, and the Book of Mormon. So if you can't do that, if you're all stuck in just one book, we have nothing to say to you. Especially a book that they set up for you to keep you blinded. If they knew so much, then they should actually know how what the 4th part, or the bottom part of the feet, of Daniel's dream is. It wasn't like all of a sudden he gave all these different places, and all of a sudden at the feet he didn't know. I'm sure they knew. They just kept that information. They just kept that information quiet. They omitted that, just like they omit many things. And now you understand what Paul was saying when he says we prophesy in part, because all these parts are now coming together, which then confirms what's in 2 Esdras 14, which these groups have never even dealt with. How the Most High said there's going to be other books that were going to come, and only the wise were going to be able to read them and make sense of them. So that's another one that's in their Bible that they ignore, because they know that they're following their kings, and their kings have omitted all this information. So that's why this is what's happening right now. Hosea 1:9, okay? Then said God, call his name Loami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your God. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, the whole world said to us, we are not his chosen people, that we are at the bottom, that we are nothing, and that we are no one, and that they are the Most High's chosen people. But what's going to happen there? It says, ye are not my people. There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Okay? That's what's to come very soon. How the Most High has now shut the mouths of the kings and their underlings. Now the Most High is raising up his people and giving the truth once again. So again, that's what the Most High is doing right now. Things have already been proclaimed in the books, and now the Most High is bringing these truths to bear. Now at the end here, the heralds of doom will appear. They will come softly as thieves to the tombs. Men will not know them for what they are. Men will be deceived. The hour of the destroyer is at hand. That is what's going on right now. The Most High is bringing this information out, but the vast majority of the people will not understand it. And right now, the hour of the destroyer is at hand. The destroyer is on its way. And we're going to get into where that destroyer is going to be hitting and how the destruction is going to be coming down. And it's not the way that everybody has been taught. Okay? In those days, men will have the great book before them. Wisdom will be revealed. The few will be gathered for the stand. It is the hour of trial. The dauntless ones will survive. The stout-hearted will not go down to destruction. Great God of all ages, alike to all, who sets the trials of man, be merciful to our children in the days of doom. Man must suffer to be great, but hasten not his progress unduly. And the great winnowing be not harsh on the lesser ones among men. Even the son of a thief has become your scribe. We will get, that was actually also from the Kolbrin Bible, and we'll be getting to that again shortly. All praises to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.